All right, hello, welcome to the Information Systems Welcome Workshop. This is something that we require all of our new admits to the business school to attend before they're able to register for the following semester. So let's get started here. So yeah, meeting your team. So my name's Nick, and I am the academic advisor for the information systems major. So I do more of the academic side of things. So like making sure we're keeping you on track for graduation, way to get involved, anything like that. And then Valerie, she's our career coach, career specialist, career guru, however you want to refer to her as. Valerie does more like the what's next, like what can you do with your information systems degree and things like that. So giving that career advice with anything from like resume review, LinkedIn profile review, kind of just how to start the job search, anything like that. Or exploring just what you can do with an information systems degree. So we're part of your, what we like to call your success team here in the Huntsman School of Business. So yeah, come meet with us, come chat with us. And the more you meet with us, the more we get to know you, the better recommendations for like certain classes to take, or certain career paths to go along. And then if you're a statewide campus student watching this recording, Amanda, she is our statewide campus advisor, and we encourage you to meet with her. If you still have career questions, you're still going to want to meet with Valerie. Amanda is just the academic advisor for our statewide campus students. And if you want to schedule an appointment with her, there's that QR code on the screen to schedule with Amanda. But most of you will probably be meeting with me or Valerie. So the QR code you see on the screen now is the QR code to schedule one with Valerie or myself. We only accept appointments by scheduling them with us. That's just because we want to make sure to respect your time as students, but also our time as advisors and career coaches. We do allow a 10-minute grace period for any like unforeseen delays that you might encounter before coming to your appointment. So let's say, for example, you schedule an in-person appointment at 2 with us. You get till about 2:10 until we kind of mark you as a no-show and have you reschedule. And the reason we do that is just again, kind of holding you kind of accountable to make sure that it's important to show up on time for things, but also just kind of out of respect for your time and other students that we might have meetings scheduled with, and then also our time as advisors, because we have other students that we might be answering over like email or things like that, or some of the other side projects that we have going on too. And then for phone appointments, we kind of like to point out that you're required to call in to the number that is on the appointment confirmation email. We do not call you for your appointment. The reason we kind of put this out there and make sure that you guys understand that is because I know other offices and other advising units have it a little bit different. The reason we require you to call in for your appointment is because we want to make sure that you're ready and prepared for the appointment. So that kind of indicates that like, yes, you're ready to meet with us and kind of have that advising or that career appointment. Because in the past, we used to call students for their appointment, and sometimes you'd call them and they would be like up at Beaver skiing or something, or they would be driving, and then they would just wouldn't be as prepared as we would think they should be for that appointment. So, but we encourage you to come in person and in Zoom. Those are probably me and Valerie's two top modalities for appointment. And then if like phone appointments, kind of like if you absolutely need to, but please just come in person or Zoom. It's a lot easier for us to like share our screens and whatnot as well. And then some of the student privacy stuff, you might hear something like FERPA. So that's the federal law that protects your information within the university. So like, if you call into your office and just like wanting some general questions about where you're at and you're working with one of our student workers, you might be asked something like a security phrase, or let's say like your parent calls in wanting to ask about what your GPA is. If you don't give them the ability to do that, like your parents can't just call us and ask like how you're doing in school. So you have to make them a delegate. So if you want like a parent or your spouse or significant other to have access to your student records and whatnot, you'll need to go on the Utah State website and make them a delegate. If you want to know how to do that, or if you don't know if you set up a parent as a delegate or anything like that, just reach out to me and we can get that taken care of. But I can kind of send you a link of how to do that. A lot of times students will set up their parent as a delegate if they're going on an LDS mission for the next 2 years. And a lot of times parents will help students register before they get back from that experience. And then your student A number email, super important. I would say check this once in the morning and then maybe once at the end of the day, just to stay up to date with what things are happening, whether it's in the Huntsman School, whether I email you, Valerie emails you something. Let's say a professor's got to cancel class because we got a lot of snow the night before and they can't make it to campus. Or I know in the past couple of years, I know we've gotten like a cold day where they have a late start where they canceled morning classes because it was just negative degrees out and it was unsafe for students and people to be out on campus. So really just the student email is the important. Also, we encourage you to email us from this as well, as it helps just with our response time on your email. Because if you email us from like a Gmail account or like an iCloud or any of those like personal email accounts you might have, we'll have to ask some of those like security questions where your A number email is something that the Utah State provided you with. So if you're emailing from that, we can kind of we know it's you and we know it's who it is. And then also that email typically includes your A number, but in any email correspondence with us, please just include that A number as well. That just makes it a little bit quicker with getting back to you on those response times, especially during our busy time of year like registration or the career expo that happens in the fall, like anything like that. Like it really just helps with that response time and not having to be like, hey, what's your A number before I can help you. And then minimum graduation requirements here, we'll go over some of the IS specific requirements in a couple later slides, but a total of 120 credits is required for graduation. 40 of those will have to be upper division credits, so that means 3,000 level or above. That will be covered, that 40 credit upper division will be covered within the information systems major, as a lot of your classes are those 3,000 level or above. A general education and depth education requirement. Come talk to me about those, as some of the stuff within information systems will cover some of your gen ed and then those depth education requirements. 2.5 GPA in your USU, and then our Huntsman majors and minors require a 2.5 GPA as well. And then we'll talk about kind of those degree specific requirements here. The business acumen is something that all of our business students are required to take. And this just makes you a well-rounded business student, business person. So when you go into the field, you kind of have a general knowledge of what every kind of department's doing. But also it allows you to explore your different options within the Huntsman School without losing ground to graduation. So as you can kind of see, you take a few different classes in each of the areas that we offer. And then some major requirements, some specific major requirements. So this isn't all the major requirements, but ones that I like to highlight and point out. So IS 4250, this is the internship class for the major. So an internship or job in your data analytics or information systems field, and instructor approval is required for registration for this class. The class must be taken concurrently with your internship experience, and it is really based off of what you're doing in your internship. And then you can kind of see the highlighting there that this class does not provide you with internship placement. So importance of meeting with Valerie and applying for internships earlier on, just so this requirement doesn't trip you up for graduation. We have plenty of resources where students have plenty of opportunities to find internships and whatnot. And then I also like to point out Data 3500 and Data 3330. These classes are pretty much the prerequisites to a lot of like the 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 level data and IS classes. So if you're like, hey, I know I want to do IS, then I always encourage students to take these classes earlier on, because from just feedback I've gotten from students and whatnot, these classes really help prepare them and give them that like confidence to go in and get that internship opportunity and whatnot. And then an emphasis area is required in one of the areas that you see listed, so either data engineering, cybersecurity, or web development. So one of those is required for graduation. You're more than welcome to do two, three, like, or do all of them. It's kind of up to you, just kind of being aware. If you do more than one emphasis, be aware how that might affect graduation. A lot of the emphasis do have some overlap, so it really isn't a lot of extra requirements. I think I was working with a student like one time, and the data engineering and the web development, if you wanted to do those two together, it's like two extra classes on top of those requirements to get both of those emphases. And then degree works, there is a short video that you can find on the Utah State website if you really want to deep dive into degree works. But degree works is a useful tool that I use a lot in our advising appointments, with looking up where you're at with requirements and things like that. It's just kind of a general list of like your requirements and like what you need to get done. It's not a list of how classes should be taken. So please come meet with me or send me an email about setting up like graduation plan, as I can build that out in degree works for you, to kind of give you just kind of a general idea of like how you should be taking classes, when you should be taking what classes, just for like prerequisites and stuff like that. And just kind of staying on top of that, for those graduation requirements. I mean, I don't want to prolong your graduation if we don't have to, so please, please, please come meet with me to kind of talk about your academics and things like that. And then a repeat policy. So in the Huntsman School, our repeat policy is a little bit different. So this is specific to our business courses. So you're allowed to take a class that initial attempt, and then you get one repeat at that class. What happens if you get to the maximum number of repeats? You're allowed to appeal for a third and final attempt at a class. Just be aware that sometimes those appeals aren't always approved for that third attempt. Typically, we approve that first. If you do need a repeat, typically we approve like the first one for a third attempt, but any additional attempts you might need, might be denied. That does happen. That means you'll have to look at other options with that within Utah State. And then also with repeating a class, just be aware that your grade will reflect the most recent attempt. So let's say you get a C in like accounting 2010 and you think you can retake it to do it better, because that C grade's like kind of the minimum grade requirement for that class. I encourage students to not repeat classes they don't need to retake, because it's always pains me to kind of see when a student retakes a class to try to do better in the class, and then they go on and get a worse grade in the class, and then they have to appeal to be able to take it again, and then their GPA kind of suffers a little bit too, because they might have that fail, or they go to retake it and they're like, oh, I've taken this class once, I got a C in it. Maybe they don't put as much effort as they should be putting into it. So if you need to repeat a class, that's fine, but if you don't have to repeat a class, try to avoid that. And then minors, for Huntsman minors, it's not required for our graduation requirements from information systems major. We offer over 20 minors. Most of them are kind of just based off of like the majors we offer in different areas. A lot of students that do information systems typically tend to like look at like our consulting minor, just kind of the nature of information systems job. Consulting pairs well with it. Finance is another good one that I've seen a lot of our IS students do, and then marketing as well, with like getting into like marketing analytics stuff. If you are gonna add a minor, I would just say be intentional with what minor you're adding. Make sure it does add value to your degree and that future maybe career goals or aspirations you have. And then some more stuff. So registration calendars. Registration calendars are awesome. They can be found on the registrar's office website. These calendars just kind of show you like when registration is, important dates for like adding and dropping a class, anything like that, like when the withdrawal deadline is and things like that. So it's really anything important to like the important registration dates. A wait list. So if you're on a wait list for a class, this is the importance of checking that A number email that we talked about earlier. Because if you do get off a wait list, you will get an email that sent to that A number email account to be able to claim your spot. The next Freshman Academy or Business 1000. This course is highly encouraged for students that are first-time college students. So this is like your first time at Utah State in the Huntsman School. Just kind of for community building and stuff, whatnot. It is offered in the fall and spring semester. So if you can't take it right now during the fall semester, just take it in the spring. Follow us on Instagram at Huntsman, at the Huntsman School. This is really like a good just kind of resource and tool to kind of stay up to date what's happening, as like a lot of their posts are based off of like events and stuff that are going to be going on throughout the semester. So it's an easy way to kind of stay in the loop of what's going on. And then in the Huntsman School, we encourage you to kind of take ownership in your education. Like me and Valerie are here to help kind of like guide you throughout your path and whatnot, but there's also some like ownership we kind of expect you to kind of take, and kind of some of that understanding of like requirements and things like that. That's why we're doing this workshop, is to kind of just give you some general requirements for what we kind of expect for the academic side of things. And then Valerie will talk about the career coach side of things kind of here in the second half. And then if you are a new admit to here, whether you just transferred or you're a new freshman or anything like that, make sure to check your transcript for any of the AP, concurrent enrollment, or transfer classes, and making sure those have been applied. If you haven't gotten that stuff sent over yet, reach out to me and I can kind of walk you through how to get that stuff sent over. We just want to make sure that stuff's on there, just so then when I'm looking up your classes for class suggestions or anything like that, I have a more fuller picture of like what you actually have remaining. And then the start desk here, it's located between the second floors of Huntsman Hall and the Eccles Business Building. So this is where we will have a peer mentor that works closely with our Student Success Center. And they can do anything from like giving you a nice like student perspective on maybe like what general education classes to take. They can do like resume reviews. They can help you find where a class is at. They really can do anything, or if you have like quick advising or career questions, and your career coach might be booked out for appointments that week or the fall couple weeks. It's a really good tool to kind of stop by and just kind of ask them those questions. And now I'll pass the time over to Valerie and talk about the career side of things.
Super, thank you so much, Nick. I am so excited to be able to share this time with you during the presentation today. One question that I like to start off with is just to pause for a moment and answer, would you like to have a job by the time you graduate? I hope the answer is yes, because that is my goal for you. And as Nick said, his goal is to help you graduate. My goal is to help you find that job by the time you graduate. And before I switch the slide, 3 things that I hope you'll take away from what I share with you. Number 1 is to get involved. Get involved will help you with your career readiness, as well as make your college experience fun. So you're here to have fun as well as to learn. Number 2 is internships. Again, Nick already said that internships are required for IS majors. So remember to do that internship, do it early, do it often. Don't wait until your senior year. That is often a recipe for a very difficult senior year. And then 3rd is to remember to meet with Nick and I often as you need. We're accessible to you via email or by appointment. And we are your success team, and we can best help you if we know what you need. So starting us off here, I wanted to just put up a slide. I have a slide for each emphases. The words in bold at the top of each column represents a few of the many functional areas within each of these emphases. And I'll just scroll through each 3 emphases while I'm talking. The job titles and bullets under the bolded words are career paths or job titles that align with that functional area. So this is for cybersecurity. And then the last thing I'd like to point out that was on all of these slides is the bottom that's yellow. Remember that career paths are not linear, and they are as unique as you. And while it can be helpful to be intentional in deciding what we want to major, also don't stress out about it too much. We'll figure it out. And also keep in mind that oftentimes people end up in jobs that aren't directly related to their major. So we will navigate it together and we'll figure it out. So come in and meet with us. On this slide, the first thing I'd like to draw your attention to is the image in the middle. It's the Dare Mighty Careers. And so this is what you'll see when you go to your Canvas landing page. Each of you will be invited to this Dare Mighty Careers. And what I want you to know about that is this is how I communicate with students within the major. I send out weekly announcements on Wednesdays. And in that announcement, there will be event information specific to the major, as well as internship opportunities and job opportunities. And at the bottom, there will be links to connect with clubs, which we'll talk about more in a little bit. The other thing to know about Dare Mighty Careers is there is a first semester checklist designed just for you first semester students here within the Huntsman School. The intention is to acclimate you to resources that are available to you to help you be prepared for your career. There are also modules designed to give you those resources to do some career exploration. If you need some quick tips on resumes or interview tips, or how do I find an internship or a job experience, there are resources there for you. And then you can set an appointment with me, your career coach, and we will take an individualized, tailored approach to those topics. Let's see. So the other thing, just to note then, the second thing obvious on the website is internships. Doing them early, doing them often will really help you. When I talk with recruiters, they say this is one thing they look for on resumes that will really help you stand out. And not only does it show your passion and interest in what you're doing, but it will also show recruiters your passion for what you want to do. And by completing an internship experience, it will also help you as you interview for future jobs, because you will be able to better articulate the skills that you learned. And then internships are unique really to your experience in college. It's a unique time where you'll get paid to figure out, do you like this career or not? And every year I talk with students who are on the spectrum. Yep, I did an internship. I love it. I got a job offer. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. Other students, yep, I did an internship. I'm really glad I did it because I realized I don't like that. I want to pursue a different functional area within my major that we talked about, the bolded words. And then maybe I'll ask Nick if he'll share his internship experience.
Yeah, so internships, I love sharing this story because it's really personal to me. It's like about my journey with my internship. So during my undergraduate degree, I was a physical education major with a minor in biology. I was planning on going to physical therapy school, end up getting wanting to get my doctorate in physical therapy. Like that was just like my goal since I was in like high school and whatnot. I was like, this is what I'm gonna do and all this. So I get to my final semester of my like last year, so my senior year. It was my 5th year as well. I had to take like an extra year just for some like the physical therapy prerequisites. I finally decided to do an internship because I needed it for my major, so I waited till like the last possible time to do it. Did the internship. About a couple months into the internship, I realized that like physical therapy wasn't gonna be a career path I wanted to go down, and I didn't really want to go into like that like medical sector anymore. So it's kind of like, shoot, I'm graduating in a couple months. I don't really know what I'm gonna do anymore. Kind of just wasted the past 5 years of time, effort, and money for a degree I know I'm probably never ever gonna use again. So I ended up like really like reflecting on like, okay, like what aspects of physical therapy did I like and what aspect did I not like? And then that kind of led me down the path of choosing academic advising as my career path. So yeah, that's a little bit about my story of internships. I like think it's super important to be able to do that experience and learn, especially if you can get paid for that opportunity. Don't shy away from doing it. It's a great way to just learn and apply what you've been learning in the classroom.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that personal experience, Nick. I think it is so helpful because again, I do also end up talking with seniors every year who haven't set up that internship experience. And one thing that we have coming up in just a couple weeks on September 20th that will really be helpful is the Huntsman School of Business Career Expo. And so again, it's on the 20th of September from 10:30 to 11 a.m. That time is set aside just for freshmen so that you have that opportunity to connect with employers with a smaller crowd. And then from 11 to 2, it's open for everybody. So if you'd like to stay for any of that time, you're welcome to do that. And the thing to know about in September at the expo, that's when recruiters are looking to fill their internships in May. So May 25 is when they're looking to fill it from talking with you in September 2024. So it's a long time. And since we're meeting remotely or, over this presentation via Zoom, you won't get to see the benefit of my sign. I usually hold up a big internship sign. And if I could have it flash lights, I would, to have it stand out to remind you to do your internships. And remember, if you have questions about finding one, set an appointment. I'm here to support you. Moving right along. This is a list of some resources available to you at the Huntsman School. Huntsman is different from the university in a lot of different ways. And pretty much all of these are unique, to the Huntsman School of Business. And so, their many careers we talked about, global learning experience, and then also SEED is not on there. I don't see it.
Oh, SEED falls underneath the Center of Entrepreneurship.
There.
So SEED is another like global learning opportunity that we have. The reason it's separate from the global learning experience is just funding for both of those programs, where SEED is a fully funded program. You're like a small business consultant in various different areas. I know they've been going to like Mexico, Peru, Ghana, Cambodia, just to name a few, where and typically SEED is a full semester long experience, so 14 weeks, where the global learning experiences are typically like the first few weeks of summer. Some of them are over like just a week of spring break. It really just depends on what they're offering, because the global learning experiences kind of like change, can change from year to year, like what we're offering. Where like the SEED program is pretty consistent. So that's why you kind of see those separate, just because funding is different for both those programs. We're global learning, for the global learning experience, there's some like out-of-pocket costs for you as a student, where the SEED program, it's the SEED program covers kind of travel and like lodging and things like that.
Yeah, perfect. The last one that I'll specifically talk about right now on this slide is the Focus Friday events. So typically these happen Friday morning. They're usually done by noon or 1. And the reason also that there aren't classes typically in Huntsman School on Fridays is to give students time to spend developing professionally. So engaging with these industry guest speakers that we bring in to talk about either their companies or topics that are very relevant to, someone who is entering in this business world. And when the speakers come, they come with the intention of connecting with students. So make sure you stay and talk with them, connect with them via LinkedIn, build those relationships, because when it comes time to landing that internship or job when you graduate, the connections you make while in college will be invaluable, and they truly will make all the difference. I'm going to backtrack just a minute, I guess, while we're here. I guess the next one is student clubs. I did want to mention the clubs that are specific for our information systems majors. The club is AIS. It stands for Association for Information Systems. And our student chapter has been recognized nationally as #1 numerous times over the last few years. So they're super involved. It's a great opportunity to get involved in competitions. Last year, our student chapter hosted the National AIS Conference, and there were about 400 students from across the nation here in Huntsman Hall, engaged in competitions, workshops, meeting with employers. There's also the Data Engineering Club for our data engineering emphases majors. We also have the Student Organization for Cybersecurity. There's also Women in Tech, although not necessarily for an emphasis, but it's a club available to you. And then there's also the ASC, which is the last line item there. That's the Analytic Solution Center. And while it's not necessarily a club, it is an opportunity for students to get that real world experience, working with company data and also being mentored by our fantastic data IS faculty. And students who are intentional about working there often receive job offers from those companies, full-time offers following their ASC experience. So super important to get involved, be connected. The other thing I wanted to mention as far as student clubs, Huntsman School of Business has over 24 clubs, but there are also USU clubs. So it's good to join clubs for fun as well. And I always like to talk about the HERD, it's the Student Organization Club. And I like to bring it up because it's been recognized as the loudest student section in the nation. So that's impressive to me. I think that's all I have for clubs.
Yeah,
And
I was just gonna add for like the clubs, if you wanna get involved with the clubs, Valerie's really good at in the Dare Mighty Careers. Course announcements, she normally includes at the bottom of each of those announcements, like links to like the Slack channel, and I think the ASC is using Teams, Microsoft Teams for communication. So if you haven't used Slack before, it's like a group meet, it's like just a group messaging system that is used university-wide. So if you just want to like be up to date on whatnot is happening with those clubs, just join the Slack channels, and then that can kind of get you involved right away and get you to be able to meet students that might have like similar interests in you and things like that. So an easy way to meet friends and be able to network with your fellow students as well.
yeah, thanks for adding that. And then for Focus of Friday events, be sure to check out the Huntsman School of Business calendar. Just Google Huntsman School of Business calendar and it's full of events. And even for the statewide students, that is a really nice thing about data IS majors is a lot of opportunities can be available online remotely, even competitions. So just kind of keep that in mind as you're looking at ways to engage, to be involved. And then I just want to conclude by reiterating that Nick and I are your success team. We're both dedicated. We both have, I would even say, a passion for student success. Oh, perfect. And helping you all figure out what you want to do. We recognize success may look different for each of you. And we also want you to know that you matter to us individually. And we really look forward to doing mighty things with each of you.
Yeah, and then you can see on the screen, that's our contact info, at least our emails and whatnot, and then the Huntsman website's on there as well. So yeah, reach out to us if you got any questions, whether it is over email or scheduling that appointment with us. And then the final thing to kind of officially wrap everything up here is, this is how you get official credit for the workshop, and to avoid that hold being placed in your account for registration. So make sure to fill out this form. It just kind of goes over like briefly like what we talked about and whatnot. And then once you're done with it, make sure to click submit. And then that will get automatically emailed to me, and then I will be able to mark you as complete for the workshop. But thank you for attending today. And like Valerie was saying, come meet with us. We're here to help you. We're here to keep you on track for graduation and things like that. Valerie's here to help you get that job too. So come meet with us. We're here, and go Aggies.